Assalamualaikum, my lecturer Dr. Ahmad Abdul Malik and my beloved friends. Thank you for the chance that given to me. Now, we would like to discuss about a figure, Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady. Who is he?
The purpose of my presentation by knowing the biography Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady. Firstly, he known as Dr. Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady is a Malaysian religious figure, also an academic writer, who modest and humble as well as Radlin Hena. He was born on 9 February 1943 at Kampung Teluk Panji, Kota Baru, Kelantan. According to Yasmun, his father Muhammad bin Musa was a farmer and married with his mother named Me'wu binti Awang Long. They are endowed four like-eyed people. He is the first child of four siblings. Another is sibling Abdul Halim El-Muhammady, who a farmer, associate professor in the Department of Law at the University Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM. And Rafia binti Muhammad, housewife, left at Kelantan. They were growing up in temperance family. After he completed his study at University of Malaysia UM, then married a local girl of his choice named Mariam binti Husain in 1969. She from Kampung Bayang, Kota Baru, Kelantan. They have been endowed 40% of light eyes, but 2 of her children have died. Most of Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammadi children were educated, was perfect by his father, even had applied religious science since childhood. On 25 March 2013, Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammadi died at his residence at the International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization, ISTAC, Kuala Lumpur, due to a heart attack. Thank you.
You can see here the slide. I will continue to know the education of a figure. Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady received his early education in school at Sekolah Rendah Kebangsaan Rambutan Rendang Panji at Kota Baru in 1949 until 1954. After that, he continued his study in English school by entering the special Malay class at Sultan Ismail College, Kota Baru, Kelantan in 1955 and graduated for 5 years. In 1962, Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammady continued his study at the upper secondary level at the Sultan Abdul Hamid College, Alustar, Kedah. He got good results and studies with distinction and earned a Bachelor of Arts in Islamic Study at University Malaya for 3 years. After graduation in bachelor's, Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammady had further his study to master level. He chose the same university. When he studied at the master level, he gave full attention to the field of knowledge until he obtained excellent results.
And now, I'll be talking about Muhammad Uthman al-Muhammady's career. Muhammad Uthman al-Muhammady has held several major roles in a knowledge institution and worked on a number of significant national committees and boards throughout his life. After completing an undergraduate degree, he continued to teach at the University of Malaya's Department of Islamic Studies until 1973, when he returned to Kelantan to work as a freelance writer and preacher. However, in 1973, he chose to leave his job as a teacher and return to Kelantan, where he was born, to work as a full-time writer and preacher. He did so because he wanted to devote his entire attention and emphasis to the spreading of knowledge in order to better understand the lives of Muslims. Muhammad Uthman al-Muhammady was a hard worker who could be trusted. Throughout his involvement in the work of Dakwah and intellectuality, he was given many roles. Among them are teacher at Maktab Adabi, Kota Baru, Kelantan, independent writers and preachers, speaker of Ibn Khaldun intellectual discourse under the Language and Literature Council, presenter of the monthly discourse on the text Al-Muqaddimah, organized by the Malaysian Islamic Youth Fourth ABIM, participated in the delegation of the Prime Minister of Malaysia to Rome to meet the Pope people in 2002, honorary fellow of the Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IKIM, member of the Council of Trustees of the Employees Foundation, member of Nabawiyyah Persatuan Islam Malaysia Advisory Panel NAFIS, and senior fellow of the International Islamic University Malaysia IIUM.
I want to talk about the work of writings by Muhammad Uthman al-Muhammady. According to Ismail Mina, the president of Muafakat and also a comrade in arms to Uthman al-Muhammady in the field of religion, he says that Muhammad Uthman did not write a lot of books. However, he put a lot of his ideas and thoughts in the form of papers, work presented as well as articles published. Over the past almost 4 decades, he has wrote at least 226 works of writing in various types of writing forms. Among his writings that he has produced are Civilization in Islam 1976, Understanding Islam 1977, Islam Personality, Education and Institution 1987, Islam and Culture 1989, and more. The book we have studied, which belonged to Muhammad Uthman al-Muhammady, Abdul Razak Mahmud, is John Hicks' Philosophy of Religion, Observations from the Perspective of Sunni Teachings, published in 2012 by Pertubuhan Muafakat Sejahtera Masyarakat Malaysia. The synopsis of these books, this was produced to make a revelation of the thoughts, doctrines and concepts of religious pluralism, sponsored by John Hartwood Hicks, a professor of religious philosophy. This revelation is very important because the virus of Hicks' disbelief in religious pluralism has crept into the Malaysian Muslim community. Ustadz Muhammad Uthman al-Muhammady dissects the world thought and philosophy of religious pluralism because Hicks is considered by religious pluralism as a prophet. His thoughts and ideas become the main basics in all discourses on religious pluralism.
We continue to the important elements that are discussed in this book. For John Hicks, philosophy of religion is philosophical thinking about religion, thinking philosophically about religion. As he himself mentioned that even the common people can philosophize about religion, such as atheists who do not believe in God, agnostics who believe that God exists or not, or we can know God exists or not, and believers can also philosophize about religion. So, according to Ustad Uthman Al-Muhammadi, religious pluralism is as an ideology that puts Islam on the same with the positions of other religions. This thought refers to the claim of truth between all religious truth claim Uthman 1977. In essence, Ustad Uthman Al-Muhammadi had a view that firmly rejected John Hick's thought against the thought of religious pluralism until the publication of this book. Subtopics in this book that can relate to the current situation. Firstly, the 2020 Commango report provides a number of cases challenge the harmony of religious freedom, such as the Herald newspaper is banned from using the word Allah by the Home Ministry, KDN, while the High Court revoked the ban. Secondly, the issue that sank but had a profound and more significant impact was related to the application to leave Islam in the federal court by 4 Muslims in Kuching, Sarawak. All 4 claim to have left Islam. So, importance of this book, the notion of pluralism should be opposed. Thus, the Islamic scholar Ustad Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammadi wants the group to be opposed because the ideology they exposed was really contrary to the teachings of Islam's prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In fact, he said those who fought for the ideology did not change, like bringing a new religion that could eventually cause Muslims to become an apostate.
Today, I want to talk about the concept of Islamic literature by Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammadi. Al-Muhammadi has focused a discussion on Islamic literature, clearly including the feathers that should be present in Islamic literature in his book, entitled Understanding Islam, People, Knowledge and Culture in Chapter 8, towards producing the tradition of Islamic poetry. This book was published in 1977 in Kota Baru, Kelantan. 3 important factors that drive Islamic literature according to Al-Muhammadi definitions. Firstly, the internal element found in the art itself. Second, the relationship of the author with the creator. And the last one is the source of reference of the works is from a true, authentic and characteristic reference Rabbaniyah. That's all from me. Thank you.
The characteristic of Islamic literature according to Uthman Al-Muhammadi. First, Islamic literature also conveys a universal message, Alamiyah, through the Quran, as a relevant follow-up for mankind past, present and future. Al-Muhammadi mentioned that the content of certain events and characters in the Quran doesn't devalue the Quran as a holy book. Second, Islamic literature also brings positive elements that can guide life to human beings. Through this literature, human beings gain the strength to continue living and be able to succeed with excellence. The third, Islamic literature is based on pure Islamic morality. At the beginning of the study, it was stated that Al-Muhammadi always emphasized the question of the principle of purification of the soul. Without a sacred source, how can the result of a sacred work that is able to awaken the soul of society? Fourth, Islamic literature and Tasawwuf have a very close relationship. Al-Muhammadi asserted that Islamic literature cannot escape Tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is a process towards the liberation of the soul from the elements of lagha. Through this process of Tasawwuf, the works produced will be full of the pure spirits of faith from ignorance. Thank you.
Now I want to talk about contribution Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammadi. First, contributions in writing. Muhammad Uthman Al-Muhammadi is a prolific writer who contributed a lot to the development of Islamic thought in Malaysia. It is channeled through the writing of papers, talks, forums and workshops and reached over 400 of them. Meanwhile, through his publication, he has produced more than 15 books. Each book published cover more than 30 chapters. He used two languages in the article on the
Malay and English, as well as the number of articles has reached more than 110 articles for 52 years. In 1961 to 2013, Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady has supported the publishing aspiration of Pengasuh magazine. This magazine became his platform to convey the teachings of Sunnah wal Jama'ah and reject the sects that are against him, such as Syiah, anti-hadith sect and secularism. Then Pengasuh magazine published Muslims sought to raise awareness, build and nurture the thinking of the Malaysian backwards. Next, contribution in education. While serving as a lecturer at a previous university, he taught on Western philosophy and Islamic political theory. At the undergraduate level, he wrote his master's thesis in politics based on the text of Al-Ahkam al-Sultaniyah by Imam Abu al-Hassan Ali al-Mawardi, and this was one of his areas of expertise. Deeper understanding of knowledge related to classical Islamic philosophy and contemporary Islamic philosophy also possess a broad and deep understanding of modern and postmodern philosophical thought. From that, it was included in modern political thought and philosophy such as democracy, communism, socialism, and so on. This mastery of knowledge make it possible to resolve various confusion disorders related to problems in religion. Last but not least, contribution in Islamiyah development. Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady is seen as Murabbi who has done a lot for the community in Malaysia, especially the community in Kelantan. Among the writers who want to be thrown here is his contribution in the development of Islamiyah, Dakwah, politics, education, and so on. Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady's scholarly contribution in the world of intellectual and Islamic Dakwah is included in his works. The heritage of knowledge is a very meaningful and valuable heritage and can be utilized by the Ummah of the world. The importance of the contribution of knowledge is also found in the Hadith, which explains that the heritage of knowledge can provide benefit and goodness to a person who has returned to his mercy. Useful knowledge can contribute to the information and unity of the Ummah based on the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah. This clearly proves that the intellectual figure Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady succeeded in inheriting knowledge that is beneficial to Muslims, especially in Malaysia. His ability as an Islamic thinker illustrates that he was not only a preacher but also a fighter against the anti-Islamic movement that led to the destruction of the Ummah. He goes on with his stance that making the discourse of knowledge as a medium conveys understanding and unravels the ideology carried by the modern religious movement. The result of the study found that the thought put forward by Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady in the field of intellectuals can be used as a guide, reference, and guidance for Muslim in dealing with the attack of thought that are contrary to the teachings of Islam as best as possible way. It can maintain harmony in Islamic economic and political development institution. That's all from me. Thank you.
So now, we continue to the channels of figure Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady in Dakwah. Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady is hardcore fighter of the Sunnah wal Jama'ah. He ruled out any irregularities occurs in religion. According to Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady, the practice of Western liberalism is very contrary to the Islamic creed that become threats to youth in Malaysia, nor the archipelago. Among them is freedom, individual human beings without limits, and definition human beings in terms of relative desires, unrestricted freedom by teachings the law. This threat has opened eyes and making the ulama figure Murabbi Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady for understanding of the Sunnah wal Jama'ah in his concept of Dakwah to avoid the Ummah Islam deviates from the belief. So now, we will continue to the achievements of figure Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady in his life. Dr. Muhammad Uthman was always humble, friendly, and calm. He also is an example of charismatic preacher who always multiply zikir and strive for congregational prayers at all times. He has been given a lot of respect among Islamic figures in Malaysia. Among the honors that have been given to him are: first, he was awarded the Tokoh Ma'al Hijrah in 2005. Second, Honorary Fellow of the Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IKIM. Third, Senior Fellow of the International Islamic University of Malaysia, IIM. And for the last, Expert Editor to review the English translation of Tafsir Pimpinan Ar-Rahman, Islamic Development Department, JAKIM.
Muhammad Uthman El-Muhammady, his contribution from various aspects will give a huge impact. His contribution in writing in Pengasuh magazine for 15 years. He shared various knowledge such as tasawwuf, spirituality, faith, postmodernism, current issue, and more. The legacy and corpus of knowledge made a great contribution to the Ummah in Malaysia that was used as a guide and reference source, such as writing, publishing, poetry, paper, discourse, and more, in conveying the messengers to the community.